Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Monday, August the 23rd, 2021, folks. Hope you're all doing well. I'm Chris Phillips, host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show, as always. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you had a fantastic weekend and very, very excited to chat with you here on this Monday as, yes, folks, the very first edition of the 2-hour-long Daily Crow. So again, in case you somehow missed it, normally the Daily Crow Monday through Friday, noon to 1, beginning today, we will now be live noon to 2. So the same Daily Crow that you all know and love, but an extra hour for you all out there, more, even longer. Take your questions, your comments, your calls. Again, 843-790-3377. Guys, that's 843-790-3377. I see Rob Youngson, Sean O'Brien, Brendan M., Travi, Bratt, Jeff Sweat, Phil, John Kruger, Tanner Land. It is popping off here on a Monday. And again, of course, yes, what a Monday. You know, just so Monday that somehow Melon would select the wrong mic. So it looks like we got that fixed now. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes, I don't know, you plug in the mic and the Melon app that we use or whatever the app that we're using, it has a list of microphones that it decides to pick one or the other. And for some reason, it doesn't pick the expensive mic, it picks the cheap one. So again, sorry about that. Appreciate y'all letting me know. And again, this is why I love the audience we have on the Daily Crow, because you guys will call it out and let me know. So again, we can try that again. Folks, happy Monday, August the 23rd, 2021. Again, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. We got a packed show. We got a lot to get into, folks. And again, the first ever 2-hour-long expanded Daily Crow. Again, guys, going to be the same Daily Crow you guys all know and love, but an extra hour on the end of the show. So we'll be live today, noon to 2, still Monday through Friday, of course. But again, we'll be live noon to 2, the Daily Crow noon to 2 moving forward. I would say for the foreseeable future, really. I mean, again, we're going to go through football season, of course. I would say baseball and basketball as well. Why not? Again, content bleeding out the freaking eyeballs. Again, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. Before we get into everything, guys, I do want to tell you about our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm, because the Daily Crow is presented to you by our friends at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Guys, they're young but experienced and aggressive attorneys. They're both former prosecutors who used to represent insurance companies but switching sides. They both worked at larger law firms where they've represented hundreds of clients at a time. And guys, they both left to start their own law firm because they understand you're not just a line item, you're not just a number, you're a real human being, and you should be treated as such. They're a small boutique law firm that treats the clients like family. Guys are going to know who you are and treat you like a client and not a number. They handle injury cases that arise from car accidents and work accidents. Guys, do not try to take on the insurance company yourself. You've been involved in any type of accident, no matter what it is. The last thing that you should be worried about is paperwork, dealing with the insurance company. Let the experts over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm handle it for you, guys. They use the latest technology to make representation efficient yet effective. Again, let them take care of everything for you guys. You don't even pay them unless they recover money for you. Rami's in Columbia, Curtis in Charleston. They handle cases statewide. They also offer virtual or in-person consultations at no charge. Guys, give them a call today in Columbia, 803-973-0304, or in their Somerville location, 843-388-3368, or of course, guys, your one-stop shop, their website, dsinjurylaw.com. That is dsinjurylaw.com for more information. Again, guys, it's our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Guys, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. John Kruger. Keep John Kruger's family in your prayers, guys. His grandmother passed. Hate to hear that, John. Sending my condolences, my prayers. Seriously, man, appreciate you always tuning in and hate to hear that, man. Sorry about that. Sean O'Brien must champion his minions hacking microphone apps. Now, I do want to say, guys, by the way, check out the hat. First time ever wearing this hat. Of course, I've been rocking the Beamer Ball trucker hats and everything else, but we've got the white dad hat, and I got to say, I absolutely love how this hat turned out. So definitely go check it out, guys. It's available still on the store, of course, tsus.store. But again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. 843-790-3377. Guys, like I said, 2 hours is a long time, Tanner Land, but you know what? It's all good. We're going to have some mini breaks throughout this thing. Not today. I will not have my plan is to have video ad reads on cue, ready to go every 30 minutes or so. Was a very, very busy and eventful weekend down in Charleston, South Carolina, so have not made those yet. We'll probably get on that, making that tonight. Again, guys, it's crazy. Content is bleeding out the eyeballs right now as we speak, with the podcast dropping this morning, episode 483. We've got the expanded Daily Crows. We've got, guys, do you realize this is the last week without South Carolina football? This is the last week until, probably December or so. It's the last week. So, again, crazy, man. A week from today, it will be game week. We'll be talking South Carolina, Eastern Illinois. We won't have to be doing, we will be doing, I guess, going into next week. We'll be going into, breaking down the Gamecocks defense and wrapping up the position unit previews, if you will. But, late next week, we'll be previewing an actual football game on the field of play as South Carolina is going to take on the Eastern Illinois Panthers in their first game of the Shane Beamer era. Again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Let's make sure that the phone lines are open. Again, guys, like I said, the expanded Daily Crow getting rolling today. It's still going to be the same Daily Crow you guys know and love, especially early on, as I get a feel for how we sort of want things to operate and go, if you will. But really excited, man. With a 2-hour Daily Crow, it's really going to open up the potential and the possibility of having guests on for little 15, 20-minute spots, if you will. Of course, more time to take your questions, your comments, everything else. Because, of course, as we get into game week and we get into the season, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there with questions and thoughts and opinions and everything else. Guys, also really, really excited to let you all know I have not posted the graphic myself yet. We'll probably do so around 1 o'clock or so. But Cox by 90 and I, first things first, shout out to Jeff O'Hara, man. Jeff, an incredible dude. He's the guy that runs Cox by 90. For asking me and giving me the opportunity to do a couple of live shows with him. And I will say thank you to you all, those that came out to Rita's on Friday. A phenomenal time. I thought the show went incredibly well. Again, what was really cool was it was like a small, intimate setting, and I really felt like everyone was locked in, everyone was engaged. We were to take you guys questions and chat with you and meet people. Just an awesome night of fellowship. By the way, shout out to Rita's also, by the way, an incredible venue. That food, those wings, those were probably some of the best wings I've ever had. I literally, I'm not even joking. So shout out to Rita's, an incredible spot. They took care of us. But again, those who came out, those who tuned in also digitally, I thought things went really, really well. I thought it was incredible. I think it's one of the best live shows I think I've ever done. And I'm sure Jeff would say the same thing. But guys, on that note, very, very excited. It's crazy the amount of live shows and the events and everything rocking and rolling as we go into kickoff and go into football season. Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90, he just posted the graphic on his social media. Like I said, I'll be getting the graphic out here shortly in the next hour or so. We are officially proud to announce our kickoff show live from Hall's Chop House on the patio in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. Again, very excited, folks. Again, Friday, September the 3rd, the night before the Gamecocks take on Eastern Illinois and get the Shane Beamer era kicked off. We figured, why not? Let's freaking kick this thing off ourselves, and what better venue and spot to do it at than Friday night live from Hall's Chop House. Again, very excited, guys. If you remember the last time we did a show there, it was the night before the Gamecocks regional got going at Founders Park. It'll be a very, very similar setup. We'll also have guests stop by. Going to be a very similar setup to what we did at Rita's as well, by the way, guys, as we were live, or we were out there. If you got out there about 5 o'clock, we'll do a little bit of a meet and greet, hang out with Gamecock fans 5 to 6, and then 6 to 7, we will actually go live and talk South Carolina football and, of course, break down the game, which will be the following day, the following night against EIU. So, again, going to be really, really good stuff. Excited for that. Jeff O'Hara, Cox by 90, and I going to be out at Hall's Chop House. Not this Friday, but Friday, September the 3rd, the night before the Gamecocks get this freaking thing kicked off against EIU. Our own little kickoff show, going to be one hell of a time, man. Going to be also, I do want to mention on that note, the giveaway that we are going to have for that night, folks, it is going to be by far the biggest and baddest giveaway you have ever freaking seeing them. We're talking a gift card to Halls. We're talking Gamecocks memorabilia. We're talking maybe a piece from my good buddy over at Apex Art and Design, like the one you see behind me. I mean, we're talking all kinds of stuff in this giveaway. And again, of course, that's something we'll be promoting over the next week and a half or so. But again, guys, I want to say thank you all to you all so much, because without your love and support, without you guys rocking with the live shows and tuning in and showing your showing your interest in going to events like that, there's no way this type of opportunity would present itself. There's no way we would look at each other and say, hey, we should do another one. So again, thank you all to you so much. So again, if you're getting into Columbia the night before, if you're getting there, you've now got plans. You've got a spot to go. Again, Hall's Chop House, my bad, guys. You now have plans and a spot to go, because we will be live from Hall's Chop House. Hall's Chop House, 5 o'clock. We will be there Friday, September the 3rd. Again, guys, we've got questions, comments today. Also, if you're in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to TDC Questions. Head over to the TDC Questions channel to be sure that your questions are answered. Phil said Mike sounds different. Yeah, apologize on that, Phil. He also says New Hampshire daily weather report 79 degrees and partly cloudy. It is very, very warm. Brack says, what's your opinion on the backlash from you saying 7 and 8 wins is the best case scenario? It seems like people just wanted a reason to be upset. Really took parts of what you said and made into a big deal. Brack, where has the backlash been? Because I haven't seen major backlash. I mean, maybe I was just that busy in Charleston and kind of on my own little world, and I really tried to use that time in Charleston to sort of detach and get away from it all and get out on the water and just enjoy enjoy great company, enjoy a great time. But I don't think there's crazy backlash. I mean, I don't know, man. I'll tell you this. Some of the videos I made over the weekend, did I get the banter going a little bit? Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? I think it's fun. I think the banter is great. But I'm really trying to help Shane Beamer, guys. When I was talking about, 7-5, 8-4 being absolute best case scenario and keeping perspective, and I'm trying to help Shane Beamer, because I just don't want people to lose sight of the fact that going 6-6, making a bowl game, it's going to be a great year. Not a good year, a great year. Phil says, people that are upset for you poking holes in these 8 wins fools are saddest that love Carolina football hurting them year in and year out. They love the toxic relationship they are in. Again, I am not trying to kill anybody's hopes and dreams. If you're really, truly convinced South Carolina is going to go win 8 games, by all means, I love that. That's great. Keep that positive energy and that positive momentum going. But just understand what has to happen for South Carolina to go 8-4. Like, truly stop for a moment and understand what has to happen for the Gamecocks to win 8 games. Like, do you really realize what's going to have to happen for South Carolina to win 8 football games? Truly. So that's all I want people to understand. That's all I want them to realize, that, hey, is it possible? I mean, anything's possible, certainly. Anything's possible, right? Anything's possible, but understand and there's a reason, guys, it's called best case scenario, because most likely it's not going to happen. It is the best case. It is the best case scenario. Derek Wilbank says, I've been watching a lot of video on Jason Brown, and I also watched our spring game. I think this guy's a whole lot better than we think. What do you think about Brown? Well, I'll tell you this, Derek, and again, this is not to poke holes in your logic, if you will, and this is not to take anything away from Jason Brown, but I think trying to draw conclusions from how good or not good a player is just from the spring game alone is, it's a very slippery slope, and it's very dangerous, and it's not something I would advise fans to do. It's not something I would advise fans to do. Just let me put it this way. These guys, that's and it's what I said Friday. I got to be totally honest with you. As we get closer and closer and closer to kickoff, I'm a little nervous the amount of guys that we are depending on that have transferred in from lower level schools. And that's no knock on these guys. Hey, sometimes the recruiting services, they're not perfect. They miss. Guys slip through the cracks, and they go to schools like Delaware. They go to schools like St. Francis. They go to other smaller schools, and guess what? They're really, really good football players, and they come to an SEC school, and they show that. But you have to keep in mind and keep in perspective that Jason Brown went to St. Francis, right? He went there for a reason. And, I mean, listen, from what I've seen from Jason Brown's game, I think he spun it pretty well. I think he obviously has got a good arm, and I think he can throw the football. All I would say is this, man, there's a reason Luke Doty was named QB1. And from things we've heard from behind the scenes regarding Jason Brown and where he falls in the quarterback battle, I don't think he is realistically pushing for that starting job. I think the battle is for the QB2 spot. Is he going to win the QB2 spot? I don't know. But I think that's where Jason Brown, I don't know that Jason Brown, you look at him and say he is an SEC caliber quarterback. I just call it for what it is. I don't. And from what I've heard behind the scenes, there isn't much that really changes my mind in that regard. I would just tell you guys this, when you're talking quarterbacks, right, and you're talking about which South Carolina quarterback is the best option for this football team, my question to you, Derek, and everybody else, and I'm not saying and insinuating that you're saying this, but my question is this. Do you trust Shane Beamer or do you not? Because Shane Beamer and Marcus Satterfield and this staff, they say Luke Doty's QB1. They say Luke Doty is the best quarterback on the roster. And they did not hesitate. They did not stutter when they said that. You don't name a guy the starting quarterback after the spring game unless you're 110% convinced he is your starter. I mean, there's just no question who the starter on this football team is. None at all. So if you have any doubt, you don't go out of your way to name him the starter. You don't go out of your way to name him the starter immediately following the spring game. Does that make sense? I mean, listen, I'm not trying to take anything away with Jason Brown. The kid can obviously spin it, but people want to point to the spring game and say, oh, man, look at Jason Brown. He's obviously the best on the roster. Look at the way he threw the ball. Guys, he threw 2 touchdowns to E.J. Jenkins, and the guy that covered him, I think, was like a walk-on that was like 5'9". There's not a quarterback on the roster that couldn't have made that throw and made that play. Not a single quarterback on this roster that could not have made that play and made that throw. Just call it for what it is. So I like Jason Brown. I've met Jason in person. I think he's a great dude, and I'm glad he's a Gamecock. But, again, I've said on Friday, I'll keep saying it as we go into kickoff, because going into kickoff and EIU, certainly, Luke Doty's injury has made the quarterback position a hot topic to talk about as we get closer and closer and closer to kick. But, guys, please make no mistake, Luke Doty is this team's starting quarterback. When he's healthy, Luke Doty is QB1. Bottom line, point blank, period, end of discussion. Let's jump back in the TDC questions channel, the Big Cock Club Discord. Brack says, yeah, man, there were a few that went on and on about it. Maybe it's all I saw when I got on. The slap dick comment was great, and people got their butts hurt. Yeah, I mean, Phil says, the problem with these unrealistic hopes and dreams is these are the people that will be bashing Beamer or the team real quick when their 10-pound waterhead ideas of what this team is doesn't come to fruition. Again, Phil, I'm just trying to keep perspective. I want people to understand 6-6 would be a great season, so I agree with you. Brack says, for real, Chris said very clearly, if you can't give a valid reason for 8 wins, then you're a slapdick, which I kind of agree with. And it was, oh, my God, Chris is calling fans slapdicks for being positive, so on and on. I don't know, man. I mean, listen, it was all in good fun, all in good banter. It is what it is. I actually went back and deleted the video because I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I got the point across, but no, listen, if you can realistically justify to me why South Carolina is going to win 8 football games, be my guest. I would love to hear it. But when people start talking about that and they say, well, Chris, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And again, I am not the big bad dude trying to kill people's hopes and dreams. 8 wins is possible. But, dude, think to yourself, when people are like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, all of the things that have to break positively and that have to happen for this team to get to 8 wins. Like, guys, what are the odds that every question mark that we have is going to be answered in a positive manner? I mean, realistically, what are the odds of that? Really? You know, you just can't assume that everything is going to work out for South Carolina this year. Just because you have a new head coach, that doesn't mean all of a sudden everything's going to work out the way you want it to. I feel very confident in 6-6 because you know what? I think this is going to be a football team that at moments, I think it's going to flash. I think you're going to see this team flash. I think you're going to say, wow, look at this. This is a pleasant surprise. This is a pleasant surprise. But make no mistake, guys, I think there's going to be moments where we're going to say, oh, wow, that's maybe a bigger question mark than we gave credit for. Oh, wow, that's an area where we got to go recruit. Bottom line, we got to go with some big-time players. So like I told you guys, Shane Beamer's a football coach. He's not a miracle worker, right? Don't expect miracles from Shane Beamer in year one. That's all I'm saying. Be patient and let the freaking guy work, man. Be patient, let him work, and I think if you do that, you're going to be very, very happy with what you get. But it is year one. Some people are calling this year zero, guys. You realize that? Some people are calling this year zero. So, Justin, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. He says, I hear a sandstorm coming. Indeed, indeed. Let's see. Jesse Jacobs, yes, Blake Mitchell. Absolutely. John Kruger, probably nothing new in the quarterback battle. Where do you think we are on that? I will tell you this, and I feel like the cat's out of the bag at this point. People are talking about it. People are asking about it. Gun to head, I think Zeb Nolan's going to start week one. As freaking, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I said to you guys last week I'd be shocked if he ever touched the field. But my God, where there's smoke, there's fire. And at this point, I mean, the more and more you think about it, the more you say to yourself, well, I mean, dude, he has more Power 5 experience than than all the other quarterbacks on the roster combined. So Marcus Satterfield has made it very, very clear, hey, we just want the guy who's going to run our offense, knows the playbook, is going to handle the moment, I think especially. But what a strange storyline going into week one of the Shane Beamer era. I mean, what a strange storyline this is, right? And again, it's a fun thing to talk about. The second Luke Doty is healthy and can make his return, he will. So who knows, guys? Maybe Luke Doty will be ready to go week one against EIU. Maybe he'll be ready. I don't know. I don't think he will play. I think even if he's like 90 or 95%, I just don't see, I don't see any reason. And I know you want to get him the reps and everything, but I still just don't see the reason in putting him out there unless he's 110% ready to go. Trad says Zeb also played earlier in the spring season, not like he hasn't played in years. Yeah, exactly. So the more you think about it, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, I said this late last week and I'll say it again, guys, I don't think it matters. Really, truly, I don't think it matters who starts at quarterback week one. All you need to do is make sure you don't screw it up. Just don't screw it up. You're going to beat EIU. It's not a question of if you're going to win the game. It's a question by how much are you going to win by. So I think no matter who you play under center, whether it be Zeb, it be Jason Brown, it be, it'd be Colton Gauthier, it be Connor Jordan. I don't think it really matters. You're going to win the football game, dude. You're going to run all over EIU. And I would expect multiple guys to play. I think most certainly multiple guys will play, no doubt. So is it Zeb? Is it Gauthier? Is it Jason Brown? Again, we're having fun with the conversation. It's always fun and great to talk quarterbacks, but at the end of the day, I don't know that it really matters, man. I think it's all about simply just put your best foot forward, put the guy out there that can run the offense, that can get the ball to playmakers. Because like I said, it should be a very, very fun night for the boys in Garnet and Black, no matter who starts or who plays. And again, I would expect at least 2, probably 3 quarterbacks to play. Again, this is going to be your best opportunity to get a guy like Colton Gauthier work, to get Jason Brown work. So I think they all play in some capacity, but I'll tell you what, the momentum is trending towards Zeb Nolan. I think the momentum is definitely trending towards Zeb Nolan as getting that start against EIU. Brack says, let's see, he's the only one who has any experience. My stepdad said that to me yesterday, that grad assistant would play week one. Well, yeah, I guess your dad is a very smart dude then, Brack. Your dad's a very smart man. Doc Graybeard says 8 wins would require flawless play, luck, staying injury-free, mistakes by other teams. It's unlikely to happen more than once a year. Yeah, I mean, a lot of, listen, I'm not trying to say that 8-4 would be impossible. I'm not saying that, but man, just so many things have to happen for you. So many things have to work out. And again, that's why it's called a best case scenario, guy. I mean, some of y'all, I think the best case scenario you would say is 12-0. I think truly some of y'all would say that. The best case scenario is 8-4. The worst case scenario is 3-9, in my opinion. Again, I think the truth falls in the middle there. for South Carolina, which is why I have picked 6-6. That is why I've picked 6-6, guys. And I'm sticking by 6-6 as long as Luke Doty is going to return to injury, which it sounds like he's going to, or not return to injury, return from injury, excuse me. He's going to return from injury week 2. I still feel good about 6-6. I still say East Carolina is the most important and most pivotal game in the 2021 season. But I feel good about 6-6. But guys, I've said this here, I've said it on the show, and I'll say it again. Gun to head, if you ask me what's more likely, 7-5 or 5-7, I think 5-7 is more likely. And I'll tell you why. I think because, again, we're in the honeymoon phase. We're all high right now on Shane Beamer and the program. And I'm certainly, I fall in that camp as well. But I think it's more likely we have more question marks than we are giving credit to. Like I told you guys, I'll just be totally honest and blunt about it, man. Not every transfer that South Carolina picked up, not everybody that came in is going to be a good SEC football player. I mean, I hate to tell you that, but they're not all going to be studs at this level. Again, guys, football's not like baseball, right? In baseball, you have great players at every level. And I'm not saying football's not like that too, but at baseball, the parity, it's such a fine line between being a D2 player and a D1 player, or being a D1, a lower level D1 player versus being an SEC D1 player. Like, it's not like it's some huge gap. That's why you see these small teams in the midweek beat SEC teams all the time, right? I mean, you see it happen constantly. Teams lose in the midweek. Teams lose series to smaller opponents. Football is not that way, right? I mean, if you're an SEC football player, you're going to get recruited to go to an SEC school. There aren't many guys. There aren't tons of guys that slip through the cracks and go to, with all due respect, St. Francis and Delaware and, Georgia Southern and these other small schools. It doesn't happen very, very often. Again, that is not me saying those guys are not going to be great players for us. But to bank on that every single one of them is going to be a great player, I just think that's asking too much. I just simply put, guys, I think that's asking too much. Again, I'm loving the positivity, the positive momentum, everything, that's going on with Gamecocks football. But, guys, positivity and positive momentum and the want to and culture, that's not going to beat Georgia. It's not going to beat Florida. It's not going to beat A&M. It's not going to beat Clemson. It's not going to beat Auburn. It's not going to beat Mizzou. It's not going to beat Kentucky, right? Hell, it's not going to beat East Carolina. You know what's going to beat those teams? You know what's going to get you to 6 wins this year? Going out and playing good football. Playing good football. Bottom line. I'm not sitting here saying coaching doesn't matter because it does. All that matters, right? Having that culture, having good coaches, having coaches that put your players in the best possible position to succeed. Hell yeah, that matters. Absolutely. I mean, those coaches get paid millions of dollars for a reason, but it is at the end of the day about the Jimmies and Joes, guys. And if you don't have those guys, it's going to be really, really tough to win. Again, I feel good about 6-6, but yeah, are there going to be some opponents in some weeks where we come into a game and I say, man, I do not like the way we match up? I'll tell you guys right now, Georgia, hate the matchup. Hate it. Hate it. Because guess what? Georgia's got big-time elite offensive linemen, 5 stars, that as good as we think the defensive line is, and hey, I think it's good. Today's podcast, episode 483, I talked about the defensive line, and I gave them an A. Obviously, I think the defensive line is very good, but Georgia's offensive line's really, 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 really good too. And if you can't get pressure consistently, which again, I don't think it's going to be very easy to get pressure on Georgia, and if you can't, guys, JT Daniels is going to eat your lunch. He is. Bottom line, it's going to happen. So there's just going to be, I think, and dude, we're not even talking about if the injury bug hits South Carolina. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, as Coach Beamer says, or negative. I'm just trying to bring some perspective into what the Gamecocks are going up against this season. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade, and I'm probably going to put a clip out on social media because, big bad Chris, rub some people the wrong way and piss some people off. I really believe at this point, again, you guys are tuned in. We got 80 people tuned in live, the Daily Crow rocking and rolling here on a Monday. I think you guys, the people that tune into my show and the people that consume our content, I think at this point you guys truly rock with and respect the honesty. I would like to think so. I'm going to say some things that don't make you feel all fuzzy and warm inside, and that's okay. But I think sometimes people need truth serum. You know what I mean? They need it. Our fan base needs it. There's only so much garnet glasses and sunshine pumping you can do. And again, that is to take nothing away from this football team this year. I think this team's going to do some really nice things. I think they're going to flash at times. But again, just keep in perspective that 6-6 will be a great season. And just keep in mind that there are some major question marks on this football team. Brack says, I would be happy if we're just competitive this year. No Texas A&M type games. If we go 5-7 or in most of the games and improving weekly, I am feeling like that is a win in itself. I agree. I agree. A 5-7 year could actually be a good year for this team. If you're showing progress and being competitive and you're fighting tooth and nail with A&M and Georgia and Clemson and the Floridas, if you're doing that, it can be a positive season. It can. Heck, the hypothetical conversation. Would you rather go 5-7 but lose 6-7 by a touchdown, or would you rather go 6-6 but get blown out in the other 6 games? We just want to see progress, right? Phil in the TDC Questions channel of the Big Cock Club Discord says, I'm okay with being the big bad dude that kills the 8-win dreams. I will be at the Vandy game. I will let people that think we will win 8+ wins rant and tell me why this team will win 8+, but then I get a running start to kick them in the nuts, because that is how these people will be feeling at the end of the season. They will love it. Trust me. Brack says that's 100% why I love the show. Just brutal honesty. Keep it coming. Brack, appreciate you, sir. Doc Graybeard says, pressure on the quarterback is vital, especially for us with our secondary. It's unreasonable to ask a secondary to cover more than 4 to 6 seconds. And, Doc, it's unreasonable to ask a really, really good secondary to cover for 4 to 6 seconds. But you're asking the South Carolina secondary that, hey, Thursday's show, we'll talk linebackers. Next Monday's show, guys, I'll be talking defensive backs. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to hold back. We're not going to hold back, just like I did with the wide receivers, right? It's a deficiency. It's a major question mark until proven otherwise. Let's see. Travi, wonder how Lou fired up the guys when we went 0-11 and the next year 8-4, just offering perspective. Travi, I hear you. Who knows? I'm not saying it's impossible. Right? That team also went 7-4 in the regular season, by the way, 8-4 with a bowl win. Say, listen, 7-6 is possible. 8-5 is possible with a bowl win. I'm not saying that. But again, an 8-4 regular season for South Carolina, Travi, again, I do say it's best case scenario. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I am saying it's the best case scenario. That's all I'm saying. Tim Woodward says, what's up with the Kentucky players getting in trouble to party where they starters should be off the team if media is correct on what happened? Aren't they already off the team? I thought they were. I don't know. I haven't kept up too much with that Kentucky situation. Rhett Godbold, anybody that thinks we'll win 8 games is off their rockers. 5 wins is more like it, and 6 wins means you pulled off an upset. Brandon Wagner says, we got 3-9 without Doty. If Zeb can come into our roster like a week ago and take the backup position, we have an issue. I mean, I don't think you're totally wrong when it comes to your quarterback room. I know Shane Beamer said, it's not indicative of our quarterback room, but I mean, you don't add Zeb Nolan unless you feel like he's going to play, right? I mean, I know you need depth and you need reps, but especially if you name Zeb Nolan your starter, well, what does that say about the rest of your quarterback room? I mean, it says, but I understand, right? Like, I'm not even saying, again, you could trot Colton Gauthier out there and win week 1. You could trot Jason Brown out there and win week 1. But if you have a guy on the roster that has Power 5 experience and can come run the offense, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. And like somebody said, we're talking about a guy in Zeb Nolan that played this spring. It's not like he hadn't played football in 3 years. I mean, Jason Brown's never taken a snap at the Power 5 level, and Colton Gauthier has never taken a snap at the collegiate level. So I do get it. Travis says, safe to say we're going to go to ground and pound week 1. Yeah, I would think so too. Let's see. Kevin C. might be the first time ever that the last guy who enters a quarterback competition has the advantage of knowing the playbook the best. Yeah, that is crazy how you literally drew up the playbook. Lance Player says, I feel this team will play up to their competition. And like you said, if the ball rolls our way, things can get interesting. Hey, Lance, I hear you. I agree. But again, is that something you can really depend on happening week in, week out for your football team? That's my question. Can you really depend on that happening week in, week out? Guys, like I told you all, by the way, quick side note. Of course, this is the first show of the Daily Crow, 2 hours long. Again, as you can see, as you can tell, it's the same Daily Crow you all know and love. Guys, hey, by the way, be sure to join the Big Cock Club because we've got a channel in the Big Cock Club Discord called TDC Questions. Now, again, if you did not know what this is, these are first priority questions. for the Daily Crow. Because, hey, even on this Monday, the questions are rolling in. The questions are rolling in here on a Monday. The TDC questions channel, those are first priority questions. You're going to be sure you get your questions answered. Because, guys, like I told you before, with the expanded Daily Crow and with game week upcoming next week, and as we get in the season, and it's a blessing, but there's going to be so many questions, it's going to be basically impossible for us to get to them all. So, again, if you leave your questions in the TDC questions channel, the Big Cock Club Discord, you are sure to have your question answered. Just want to throw that out there. Keith, speaking of the TDC questions channel, he says there, if Doty's healthy, do you start him week 1? I believe so because he needs game time reps, or would you send him in week 2 on the road? Keith says 4-8 is more likely than 8-4. And I tell you what, Keith, I hate to say it, I actually do agree with you. I actually do agree with you that I think more likely. I think it's more likely. Again, I think it's more likely you have more question marks than you are giving credit for. Bottom line, end of story. Keith, if Doty's healthy, though, do you start him week 1? Yeah. Dude, I think if he's 100%, you play him. Yes. Yeah, dude, you don't even have to play him the whole game. You're going to beat EIU. There's no question you're going to beat EIU. You ain't got to play him the whole game. But, yeah, I mean, if he's healthy, I think you 110% play him. What are you going to hold him back for? You know what I mean? What are you going to hold him back for? So, absolutely play him. Phil says the mind of an 8-win status. Says Zeb Nolan for Heisman. Indeed. Let's see. John Gibbs. Everyone just needs to have this mindset. 12-0 is always the standard, but you have to have realistic expectations. I think at best, with a perfect scenario, 8 wins is our tops. 6-6 is a great prediction, or 5-7. And John, hey, listen. There's a difference between being in the seat that I am in, breaking down the season and locking in predictions, and what is being said and going on in the building. Bro, if you're in the building, yes, the standard should be to beat everyone you play, to win every single game. Of course. I'm not saying that. But when you're speaking, as a fan or as someone that does what I do, you're talking on a show, whatever it might be, I mean, you got to lock in some realistic expectations. I would tell you guys this, because a lot of people have released predictions for Salk in a season. Have you guys seen anybody pick an 8-4? I mean, literally, is there one person out there that's done so? And if they have, tag me, shoot me a DM, whatever. Because I tell you what, I've seen some 4-8s picked. I've seen a fair number of people picking 4-8 and especially 5-7. But I have not seen a single 8-4 picked. So, again, it's just when you're speaking to the fan base like I do on a consistent basis, I am, again, just trying to help out Shane Beamer, because I do not want people to somehow get it twisted in their minds that if we go 6-6 this year, we somehow underachieved. Like, no, bro, no. We go 6-6. We had a great year. A great year. A great year. I just don't want people to sit there and think, we went 6-6. Well, it was an okay year. We could have done better. No. If we go 6-6, we had a great year. That's not settling, anything like that. But, guys, it's year 1 of a brand new era. You just have to keep that in perspective. It is. It is, right? So 6-6, get to a bowl. You have to walk before you can run. You got to crawl before you can walk, right? So, putting some crazy expectations on Shane Beamer in year 1, it's going to do nothing for this fan base other than drive them miserable, So, like I said, just keep in perspective 6-6. Keep in perspective, that's a great year. Let's see. In the TDC questions channel, the Big Cock Club Discord says, Gamecock 68 says, considering we've only won 6 games in the past 2 years, 6-6 would be amazing. That coming from Todd Smith. Todd, thank you, sir. Great. I think it's a great point. Again, perspective. Perspective is a beautiful thing. And hey, again, 8-4, it's possible, but best case. Phil says 4 wins is better than 2 wins. I wouldn't cut a backflip over 4 wins, but it wouldn't be seen as an awful year. I'm all about progress, even if it's slow. 4 wins this year, 6 the next, and so on. And again, I'll tell you this, Phil. I picked 6-6 because I believe with a brand new coaching staff and this team, I think this team certainly has the talent to go 6-6 and to win 6 games. And I mean, most certainly this football team does. I don't think there's anybody denying that. So I believe this team's good enough to go 6-6. I believe this team's good enough to make a bowl game. Yeah, so Doc Gravy, we have to be real. Our final 5 games are all likely losses. A&M, Florida, Mizzou, Auburn, and Clemson, a win against any of these squads would be an upset. We will be underdogs in all of them. Yeah, and again, I picked South Carolina to beat Auburn, but I picked them to lose the rest. I tell you what, here's the thing. I'll tell you this, because I've been rambling on this for a while, and we can continue to talk about this certainly, but the one guarantee is that, damn it, this season's going to be a roller coaster ride like every other Gamecocks football season is. And, yeah, let's just buckle up, let's hang on, and let's enjoy the ride, honestly. So, let's see. Sorry, guys, just pulling something up real quick. Trying to figure out what Hall's Chop House Twitter is. Hall's Columbia. Duh, I should have known that. Again, guys, appreciate you guys taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Also, guys, if you are in, I should say, the Big Cock Club Discord, head to TDC Questions to be sure your question is answered. Again, guys, first day of the expanded Daily Crow, and boy, we're off to a hot start. That first 40 minutes just flew by. We'll probably only have one break today, just because, like I said, guys, was in Charleston over the weekend, did not get the ad read videos made. So what's it's going to be, guys, every 45 minutes or so, I think what we'll do, I'm going to play like a pre-recorded video. It's going to be type of like a commercial, if you will, just so I can get up, stretch my legs, use the bathroom, get some water, do whatever. But today, I don't think today, I know today we will not have that. So starting tomorrow, I will have that all set up, ready to go, all that good stuff. But yeah, appreciate you guys, man. Really excited for this, rocking and rolling along with the journey, and excited for these 2-hour Daily Crows, man. Like I said, all the Daily Crow you know and love. Yeah, so Tate 111_ what chat is he reading? Tate, I'm reading this chat. I'm reading the Big Cock Club Discord chat. I'm reading all of it. So again, if I have not gotten to your question yet, I apologize, because there are a ton of questions. So again, if you guys really want to know what it looks like behind the scenes, I actually have comments coming in from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all of those in one chat. So there are a lot of questions that come in here. So again, I promise you, I do read the questions from Twitch. I know people have asked me that before. But yes, I do read that. Todd Smith says play clips from past games. I cannot do that, Todd, because that's video that is owned by someone else. So you cannot do that. You cannot do that, unfortunately. YouTube will rip the video down. Blind Squirrel Sports, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Matthew Jones says, think Mizzou is a better chance to win. I mean, if Luke would have started the game last year, we might could have won that game with a depleted roster. I mean, that's a good point. South Carolina certainly did hang tough against Mizzou. I think, though, going to their place, Matt, I talked about this before. I hate the road trip, whatever reason. It's always a weird game. It's always a weird road trip. That's certainly, for me, in the toss-up category. There's no questions. That is a toss-up game for me. No question about it. Could I see South Carolina winning that football game? Certainly. But right now, I have it as a loss. I have it as a loss. And a very close loss at that. Let's see. I think Tate just texted in. Yeah, Tate says 7-5 is way more likely than 4-8. I was just saying that 4-8 is more likely than 8-4. Yes, I would agree 7-5 is more likely than 4-8. Yes, I would like to think so. But again, all this conversation, I feel very confident in 6-6. I feel very, very confident in 6-6. Ridge Alford says, what are your thoughts on the evolving COVID situation? Do you think we'll be able to keep the Gamecock fans in the stands at full capacity for the entire season? Ridge, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't talk about it a lot or at all because I stay in my lane with sports. All I know is right now Willie B is going to be packed. And that's all I know, man. I worry about what I can control. And I mean, nobody, I can tell you this, I figured I'd highlight the comment, Ridge, because of course it is something surrounding football season that, we're all kind of curious and wondering what it looks like. All I know is this, Ridge, right now, 110%, we are full go, full capacity, all that good stuff. I don't see that changing anytime soon, but, nobody tunes into the Daily Crow or any of my content to hear me talk about COVID. That's all I'm going to say. So, hey, until they say something different, we are 100%. We are full go, and that's all I know about it, Rich. So, I mean, honestly, I'm not a doctor. I'm not the best guy to ask about it. I'll be totally honest with you. So, I expect, though, we're going to be 100%. That's me speaking that into existence and being positive. Hey, you want to talk about positive energy and using positive momentum? use it to that we're going to have 100% capacity throughout the entire season, and that really throughout all of sports forever. So, again, 843-790-3377, guys. That's 843-790-3377. We'll probably have like a 5-minute break around the 1 o'clock mark. We'll have a 5-minute break, and then I will come back and we'll knock out the second hour. So, again, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Bad Brad 757 in the TDC questions channel of the Big Cock Club Discord says, how long do you think before they announce the starting quarterback? Do we think it'll go until midweek of game week just to see if Luke may be ready? Or do we think they at least want to have one? They want to have one to get max reps at practice starting next Monday. Well, I'll tell you this, because a lot of you have asked about the scrimmage that happened over the weekend as well. There was no media availability from that, of course. I can tell you this. Shane Beamer speaks to the media, I believe, tomorrow. It would not shock me at all if they went ahead and named the starting quarterback, because I think this is a situation where, I mean, yeah, you want to get this out of the way as quickly as possible. You want to get this out of the way as quickly as possible. So it would not surprise me at all if Shane Beamer came out tomorrow and said, hey, Zeb Nolan's our starting quarterback, or Jason Brown or Colton Gauthier, whoever's won the job. It would not stop me at all. It would not stop me at all. Wow, here we go, Phil. Phil in the TDC questions channel of the Big Cock Club Discord says, as an amateur gynecologist, I believe we'll be at 100%, but might have to wear masks when not at your seat or in open air. Appreciate that, Phil. Thank you for the insight. Let's see. Brandon Spell says, might have already touched on it, but I think Kentucky is the most important game, probably an underdog going in, but a must-win to get recruiting going. The losing streak has to stop. And listen, I totally understand that, Brandon. I will argue with no one who believes that Kentucky is the most important game of the season and talk about, it's a pivotal game, no question. And I've talked before why. It's a very pivotal game. I say East Carolina is the most important game. And the reason I say that is, again, guys, you label the games on this schedule in wins, toss-ups, losses. You really start breaking down this schedule. I think you can lose to Kentucky and still get to 6 wins. By the way, I've actually picked it. I've picked South Carolina to lose to Kentucky and still go 6-6. I believe you can lose to Kentucky and get to 6 wins. You can lose to Mizzou. You can lose to Tennessee, God forbid. You can lose to Auburn. You can lose to Florida. There are many, many teams that you can lose to and still get to 6-6, which, again, is the goal in Shane Beamer's first year. Make no mistake, guys. And I want to make this clear, too, before I even get to my point. If you go less than 6-6, I'm not going to sit here and say, it was a great year. Like, making a bowl game, the expectations year in, year out should never fall below making a bowl game. They never should. You should never be happy and satisfied with, God forbid, a 4-8 season. Like, I don't think anybody's saying that. But again, back to my point, getting to 6-6, that's the goal. That's where you want to end up, right? You can lose to any of those teams I just mentioned, and you can get to 6-6 still. I fully believe that. You cannot lose to East Carolina, in my opinion, and get to 6-6. And I hate to put that much pressure on a game in week 2. I hate to put that much pressure and, act like, if you lose week 2 to ECU, the season's over, because I'm certainly not saying that. But, man, it's just going to be really, 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 really tough and damn near impossible to get to 6 wins if you lose that game. And what scares me, guys, is the over-under in Vegas is set at 3.5. Right? And many people scoff when I talk about East Carolina and I talk about this ECU game and Chris, we're a lot better than ECU. We're going to go in there and handle our business and beat them by 21, and we're so much better than them. And I'm not saying South Carolina's not more talented than East Carolina, by the way. I'm certainly not saying that. They are. Top to bottom, look at recruiting. There's no question. South Carolina has more talent as a football team than East Carolina does. I mean, we're talking about an ECU team. That gave up 201 yards per game rushing last year to their schedule, guys. Gave up 200 yards per game rushing to their schedule. So, hey, it's a game South Carolina could go in and run all over East Carolina. But it's a tricky game. You can't deny it's a tricky game. On the road, at Dowdy-Ficklin, they've always played you close for whatever reason in this series. A South Carolina football team that, going into week 2, still going to have a plethora of questions, because I don't think you're going to learn anything next weekend where you're going to be able to, you beat EIU and all of a sudden we're drawing conclusions like, oh, this guy's a legit playmaker. This guy's legit. This guy. I mean, it's going to be a great opportunity next weekend for guys to build confidence and get on the field and all that good stuff. But you're not going to be able to draw conclusions from beating Eastern Illinois, right? You're not. So ECU, again, you're still going to have a lot of questions going in. For me, you got to win that game to get to 6 wins. If you lose to East Carolina, I think all of a sudden that over under 3.5, unfortunately, it comes into play for you. You're staring at a 5-7, if not a 4-8 year. So again, just make sure you take care of your business. That's all I'm saying. I picked South Carolina to win the game, but just make sure you take care of your business. Just make sure you do. Again, guys, man, the questions are pouring in, folks. Appreciate it. We've actually got damn near 100 people tuned in live right now, so I truly do appreciate it. Again, the first day of the expanded Daily Crow, absolutely love to see it, guys. Like I said, about 10 minutes or so, we'll take a 5-minute break. I'll probably just play the normal Daily Crow countdown video, so you guys will know where I'm actually probably going to get another one of those made where it's going to say, hey, we'll be right back, and it'll be a 5-minute countdown. But yeah, just let you guys know that will be sort of how we operate today. We've got Clone Phil in the chat. Luke RJ138 says 38 viewers on Facebook. Love it. Love it. John Gibbs says, I think personally Gamecock Nation's just so over the idea of 5, 6, and 7 wins. It's okay, and unfortunately we are in that situation. Like you said, you got to crawl before you can walk. I was at USC from 2008 to 2011, and I was spoiled. John, listen, I was in college during that time too, bro. I will never forget. I got to a point where I just took it for granted. I thought we were just going to win. I'm like, okay, we're good now. We're good. We don't have to worry about this anymore. We're just a good football team. But you got to keep things realistic in the first year of a new era. Let's jump back in the TDC questions channel of the Big Cock Club Discord. Keith says, I think ECU is a big game. My fellow Gamecocks are killing me saying that ECU is no good, and we'll blow them out. Why do you think it is a big game? Well, Keith, I think at the skill position spots, especially on offense, bro, they have enough talent to beat you. They do. They've got a very capable quarterback in Holt Nailers. They've got some really, really good wide receivers. They've got a very talented running back that's from the state of South Carolina and will have a chip on his shoulder. It'll all come down to the line of scrimmage in that game because that's your biggest advantage against a team like ECU. ECU, you can recruit some really great athletes on the outside and guys that can make big-time plays for you. Heck, we've seen guys from ECU go to the NFL, but it's on the line of scrimmage. That's the biggest difference in that level of football versus where you are as an SEC team. So your line of scrimmage has got to dominate in that one for sure. Brack says it's a huge game, no doubt. You can't sleep on ECU. On the road, and they are wanting to beat bad. It's a tough game, and I agree with Chris on this one. ECU is most important with Kentucky a close second. I agree 110%. Brack. Phil in the TDC question channel says, Carolina lost to App State in recent memory. We shouldn't sleep on any non-Power 5 team. Phil, boom, hit the nail on the head. That is a perfect way to put it. Curtis Scholl says, hey, Troy will be pivotal. Yeah. They're all important. They're all pivotal at this point. We got a text in says, where can I find Zeb Nolan's Heisman odds? Zeb Nolan Heisman odds. Zeb for Heisman. Justin Warren says, we have the hype of this new coaching staff, in my opinion, to go 7-5. Defense and running back room will win some unexpected games, I believe. Secondary is my question mark to give up big passes, which I hope we don't do often. Losses to Georgia, Kentucky, A&M, Florida, and Clem suck. So Justin Warren has got 7-5 with a loss to Kentucky. That'd be impressive. But, I mean, I could see it. If you're getting better and better and better week after week as a football team, I could see it happening. Hey, you get better and better and you take down a Mizzou. You take down an Auburn, right? I could see it happening. You got to beat Tennessee and Knoxville as well. That'll be an interesting matchup. I know Tennessee's not very good, but Neyland's been a house of horrors for you. So, never know. Never know. Travis says, Chris is a busy man. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Curtis Scholl. Now, here's a great question from Curtis. Here is a great question. Will South Carolina be favored against East Carolina? Curtis, that's a fantastic question. And I'll tell you this right now. I got a buddy of mine that is friends with a Vegas sharp, right? A guy that makes the lines and studies this stuff and does it for a living. He says that right now, that game is a pick'em, believe it or not. That game is a pick'em, folks. So I'll tell you this. If South Carolina is favored that week, it is going to be a very small margin. Going to be a very small margin, guys. So Yeah, and I think it's going to be a very popular game to bet on, by the way. So, James Kendall, it'd be cool if we could see the combined chat interface Chris uses to see all the comments. I mean, it's nothing crazy, James. It's just literally all the comments are listed, and it has a little icon saying whether it has your name, of course, and whether it's from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whatever. So, again, I mean, I think it works really, really well, and I appreciate you guys, all the questions, man. You guys are what make the Daily Crow what it is. And, again, we would not have the expanded Daily Crow if it weren't for you guys. So truly, truly do appreciate the love and support, man. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. By the way, really quick, before we keep going and we dive into hour 2, I do want to tell you about our friends over at a little place called Carolina Ale House, by the way. Certainly, you guys have all heard of Carolina Ale House, but again, truly excited, guys. I'm sure y'all have already seen. We have brought them on as a partner. We're going to be doing live watch parties, live shows from their locations for each of the Gamecocks road games. I'm actually very excited. I shot them an email this morning. We're going to start talking about that, breaking that down, getting that set up. What I'm thinking is this, and again, this is just me talking. I sent them an email. We'll see if we can get this finalized and locked in. I told them what I think will be a great idea because, of course, early on in the season, we've got weeks 2 and 3, week 2 at ECU and week 3 at Georgia. Week 2 being a noon kick, week 3 being a 7 o'clock kick. I think it would be smart and be best week 2 for the noon game if we did the watch party and live show locally at the Carolina Ale House in Harbison in Columbia. So all my Columbia folks, I'm trying to get the first watch party and live show from Carolina Ale House in Columbia. Week 3, though, for Georgia. I'm very excited for this. And again, I'm thinking, I don't know why we shouldn't be able to. I'm thinking we're going to make this happen. I would love to have week 3, Georgia. It's a big game. It's a night game. Live from the Carolina Ale House, the watch party from the Carolina Ale House in Greenville, the Greenville location. Yes, showing love to all of the upstate Gamecocks. It's something I'm very passionate about, something I want to do. Again, I know there's a lot of Gamecock fans up in Greenville that tune in, that support the Gamecocks, and that I know it's tough for those in the upstate being an old that team in the upstate's neck of the woods, if you will. There aren't a ton of Gamecock offerings. I think it would be awesome for that game for us to throw that watch party and that live event, if you will, for the Georgia game at the Carolina Ale House location up in Greenville. So again, I will let you guys know what the plan is. Doc Graybeard, thank you all so much for the super chat, Doc Graybeard. Appreciate that. He says, what is your thoughts on the alliance of the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 trying to shut out the SEC schedule? I mean, dude, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. The SEC is still going to run college football, man. Yes, John Gibbs, the Vista Ale House is closed down. So the only Columbia location is the one in Harbison. And again, on that note, with Carolina Ale House, guys, like I said, they've got over 60 TVs. It's not a bad seat in the house, folks. Again, we've all been there, right? We all love Carolina Ale House. It's an incredible spot to watch. Again, they've also got over 40-plus beers on tap, so they can quench anyone's thirst. So guys, get this. Not all locations only have 40. They actually vary from 40 to 72 taps. So whatever beer you like, whether it's craft beer, it's regular beer, whatever, if you like cold beer, you're going to have a really, really good time at Carolina Ale House. They've also got a made-from-scratch menu. And, guys, their hours, they're open 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. during the week and 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Thursdays through Saturdays. But, again, guys, something I'm really, really excited about, these watch parties, these live events for each of the Gamecocks road games in this 2021 football season. Really, really excited, guys. Also, details for our TSUS tailgate will be coming out this week. Guys, I apologize for the fact that we have not published that yet. And I'll tell you why, because I'll be honest with you, I'm sick of sitting on this secret or on this announcement, if you will. It's something that has not been finalized yet. I'm trying to get it finalized. And once it is finalized, I'll be making a graphic and promoting it. But the reason there has been a delay in posting the details around the TSUS tailgate, it's actually very exciting, and I think something you guys are going to be very, very stoked about, right? Because I've already got the spot at Seawell's Ball. We've got spots 92 through 96. The spot is taken care of. That's not an issue at all. We've got the location. I was approached by a group of fine folks that asked me, hey, Chris, we'd love to partner up. What are you doing on game day? right? So what's been in the works, what the holdup is, we've just got to get it finalized. We are potentially, I think this is going to be happening, going to be doing a live show, the pregame show, if you will, that I was planning on doing from the tailgate, doing a live pregame show, hour-long show, call it the college game day of the Cox, if you will, live from Jay's Corner, right next to CUL's, actually. Jay's Corner, though, working to get that finalized. But again, I've been sitting on this forever. It's not finalized yet. It's not finalized yet, which is why you haven't seen an announcement, but trying to get that locked in and finalized this week so we can go ahead and start promoting, get that graphic out there, all that good stuff. Again, guys, stuff's absolutely rolling right now, and it's truly a blessing, and it's because each and every single one of you. So again, guys, thank you all so much. John Gibbs says, wanted to say your Charleston trip with Cox by 90 was fire. Y'all need to do that more often, especially on big away games that you do not go to. Yeah, dude, I really, really do appreciate Jeff. John, in case you missed it, we're actually doing a kickoff show live from Hall's Chop House. Not this Friday, but next Friday, September the 3rd, from their patio. Same setup as Rita's. We'll be out there 5 to 7, meet and greet 5 to 6, and then live from 6 to 7, taking your questions from people in attendance. We'll also, of course, be breaking down the first game and talking about everything. But again, truly appreciate Jeff O'Hara, Cox by 90, an incredible dude. He does a fantastic job, by the way, guys. I highly suggest you go listen to his show, and excited to create more content with a fantastic Gamecocks content creator, I should say, in Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90. All right, guys, like I told you, in the future, here's what we're going to do, right? In the future, this is the first day, of course, first day out for the expanded Daily Crow. I will actually have pre-recorded ad reads, announcements, all that good stuff that's going to serve as commercials, if you will. It was a long weekend in Charleston, I'll be totally honest, and we have not gotten that made yet. So today, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to replay the countdown video. So that's going to be live, guys, for the next 5 minutes. I'm going to get up, stretch the legs, use the bathroom, do all that good stuff, probably post a graphic for the Hall show. I have not gotten that out yet. So again, guys, we will be back in 5 minutes. Appreciate it, folks. We'll be back for hour number 2 of the Daily Crow. Talk to y'all in just a second, folks. Be back in just a sec. All right, what's up, guys? We're back. We're back. See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Little countdown, if you will. Just give us a second to stretch the legs, use the bathroom. Also, just posted our graphic, by the way, for our live show from Hall's Chop House. The details are officially out, with more details to come, by the way, because we got about a week and a half or so until that live show, guys. The giveaway is going to be absurd. The giveaway is going to be absurd. We're probably going to have some special guests roll through, because you can see and guests on the graphic. Man, it's going to be a really, really good time. Oh, by the way, in case you forgot, we're also doing our live shows every single Wednesday night live from Tin Roof. And I'm really, really excited, by the way. Really excited to announce that we'll just have one special guest on Wednesday's show. I'll be getting this graphic out tomorrow, but we're going to have one special guest. But, man, that special guest is a star, and I absolutely cannot wait to have him on. Former Gamecocks defensive line coach, Brad Lawing. Coach Lawing going to join me, an absolute legend in his own right, guys. We've had him on the podcast just a couple of times, so certainly I'm sure you guys have heard those interviews, and you know just the type of dude and the type of legendary status that Coach Lawing is. Cannot wait to get Coach Lawing live at Tin Roof. I mean, he's always good for a little story or two, so cannot wait to talk to Coach Lawing. Also have a special gift to give Coach Lawing. I don't think he even knows that, so if he's for some reason tuned in the live stream right now, I guess he just found out. But no, really, really excited, man. Going to be a great time. And again, guys, like I said, things are rocking and rolling, and it's truly a blessing, man. It's incredible to have the opportunity to spread the good word that is the Gamecocks, and talk South Carolina football and talk South Carolina athletics, and work with some fantastic Gamecock content creators. I see my guy SEC Football Tube saying this will always be my favorite countdown of any content creator. SEC Football Tube, I appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. I'll be getting new videos made, guys. Like I said, there's actually going to be like ad reads, pre-recorded ad reads. You never know, man. I'm probably going to get creative with it. You know what I mean? As you can see, I really only need one break throughout this thing, because I can just go and ramble and talk and all that good stuff. But we'll probably have like every 45 minutes, maybe like 3 ad breaks or something like that. But I don't know, man. Like you said, this piece of content, just like every other piece of content, right? We're going to keep rocking and rolling. I know you guys will roll with the punches, and this thing will get better and better and better and evolve, and that is the fun part, folks. That's the fun part. I cannot wait. Todd Smith. Holy smokes, Todd Smith. The super chat. Appreciate you, Todd Smith. I'll tell you what, I don't know if it was Todd Smith. I think it was Todd. And I think there was one more as well. But my good buddy Jeff, he had never seen a super chat before. He didn't know what the heck that was. He was like, holy smokes, what just happened? I was like, dude, when you've got the love and support that we have with the Spurs Up show and all, the Daily Crow and all you guys, man, rocking with the content, showing love for the content, just means the absolute world, man. I can't say enough things. So again, hey, the first ever hour 2 on the Daily Crow. You guys tell me how you enjoy it. But again, guys, this thing is only going to get bigger, only going to get better. I will say I would probably like to at least start it, of course, by next week. What I'm really excited for, this is going to give us the opportunity to have like guests, to have people pop in for 10, 15 minutes or so, something like that. And I think something that could be really, really, really cool. Could be really, really cool. So, just very excited, man. Very excited, and appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, without your love and support, man, without you guys continuing to tune in, we wouldn't even have the idea of a 2-hour Daily Crow. Jonathan Lee says, any word from camp, any injury updates? Also, with UJ injuries, do you think they give Clem Sucks, or that gives Clem Sucks the lead? Jonathan Lee, nothing really from camp. I mean, there's really nothing that came out. I wouldn't say anything crazy notable. Let's see. Also, with UGA injuries, do you think that gives Clem Sucks the lead? I've still got Georgia winning that game. I just think with, having an inexperienced quarterback and what they lost on offense, I don't know. I like Georgia to get the dub in that one. Also, injury updates. No news is good news, so thankfully it sounds like nobody else got hurt over the weekend, thank God. Let's jump to the phone lines here real quick. Dalton, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. I got 2 questions for you.
For sure. Go ahead.
The first question is, what do you think about the athletics department rebranding the student section to the cockpit? I'm wondering why it took them so long to do that.
I don't know. I don't know if that was a Beamer thing or like a USC athletics thing. I would tell you this, man. I mean, listen, I like the name, the cockpit. My only gripe with it is this. I feel like the cockpit is more like the venue versus the actual students or the student section. Does that dude, you know what? Here's the funny thing. I would have loved the school. You can have Rowdy Roosters. Like, you can have it. I don't really want it. You can have it. You know what I mean? Like, I think Rowdy Roosters is great. But, no, I mean, the fact they're branding it into something, I mean, I think it's great to just get people fired up and get the students involved. Obviously, the student section's a huge piece of game day and the atmosphere at home and the intimidation, if you will. So, you know, the fact they're branding it as anything and they're going to get students involved and fired up and excited, like I said, I don't know if that was a Beamer thing or just a USC athletics thing. But, I mean, I like the name. Don't get me wrong. I was like, man, is Rowdy Roosters just no more? Are we just done with the Rowdy Roosters? But, you know, I'll tell you this, man, just on that note, the Rowdy Roosters was just something I saw during baseball season. We had a fantastic student section, and our students go freaking crazy, man, and heckling and everything. And, I mean, we all know what game day is like with the Rowdy Roosters. But I just figured, hey, it just gives us an opportunity to nickname the student section. And I saw Tennessee doing it, and I was like, you know what, why wouldn't we do it? So, you know, that's where the Rowdy Roosters was born. But, I mean, I like it overall. I like it. You want to call it the cockpit. I think it especially fits for football because I think calling Willie B the cockpit is something that it's something people have done, but it never really has stuck, at least not recently. So, you know, anything to get people fired up, man, get them involved and get them to show up and show out, I'm all for it. So, I'm assuming you like the name, correct?
Yeah, I do. It's been unofficially named the cockpit for years now, from what I understand. So,
yes.
You know, it's a good thing they're finally embracing it. You know, we also have that. I believe the school has a sponsorship with Manscaped now.
Yes.
Kind of funny.
Yes.
So we're the only school in the SEC to have a sponsorship.
Pretty ironic sponsorship for the Cox, that's for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. And then my second question is about Zeb Nolan. So I feel pretty good going into Eastern Illinois week 1. I feel like no matter who we play at quarterback, we're probably going to get the W that day. But my question is, if Doty's injury lasts longer than expected and he's not back by week 2, what do you think our season looks like then? Because I don't want to put too much emphasis on the quarterback position because, you know, our running backs are probably going to get a majority of the yards. But I'm just wondering what you think about that.
But I mean, it is the most important position on the field. Let's just call it for what it is, right? If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. I mean, you had arguably the best running back in the SEC last year, but you know, what did that do for you, right? You didn't have the guy at quarterback to make plays and improvise. And I mean, you know, I think Kevin Harris and Marshawn Lloyd and all the guys in that running back room, they're great players. But, you know, at some point, you're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, at some point, the quarterback is just going to have to make a play. You know what I mean? So, certainly, I mean, it's extremely important. I mean, I would say this, of course, I know that Beamer, you know, and I really loved the messaging he had about, you know, no doom and gloom. And, you know, our season doesn't hinge on one player and his MRI. But, you know, realistically, a lot of the season does. I mean, I hate to say that, but it just does. You know what I mean? Again, it's the most important position on the field. So depending on how long Luke Doty is out, I think that certainly does change. It has to change the outlook a little bit, man. I mean, there's a reason Luke Doty's QB1. So it's got to change the outlook a little bit. But I mean, I would say this, man. I think certainly I agree with you that South Carolina's going to beat EIU. Doesn't matter who plays quarterback. I mean, we could probably put you at quarterback and we're still going to win. You know, I think there's no doubt about that. But I think they're going to play the best guy available. So if that's Zeb Nolan, and again, the more you think about it, the more you say to yourself, well, Zeb Nolan has more Power 5 experience than everybody else in the quarterback room combined. I mean, it does feel crazy, bro. It feels crazy to think a guy that wasn't on the roster 2.5 weeks ago is literally going to be our starting quarterback in week 1. But it's just kind of where you are right now. So, yes, if that injury does, you know, if it does linger, I would expect probably Zeb Nolan to start week 2. And, you know, just how good can Zeb Nolan be? I mean, again, he doesn't have to be a Heisman winner. And Marcus Satterfield literally said that, by the way. He's like, you know, our guy, he doesn't have to go win the Heisman. He doesn't have to be all conference. He just needs to be able to run the offense. So, and I even think, man, if your offensive line does what I think they should do and they're able to push around East Carolina, you can win. You can win in Greenville with just a I don't want to say an average day, but you can win in Greenville with a guy just running your offense. He doesn't have to go out there and have some insane game. You know what I mean? So, I mean, certainly, man, if Doty's, God forbid, if Doty's injury lingers and it's worse than expected, I mean, yeah, it's going to change some things for the season. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully that's not the case. And hopefully it's a situation where he's actually ready to go week one, but they're going to hold him back. I don't know. It's really tough with these sprains and everything and how a guy recovers and stuff like that because each player is different, each injury is different. But, no, I mean, listen, I think they're going to play the guy that gives them the best chance to win week one, and I think that's probably why you're going to see Zeb Nolan get the nod, which, I mean, again, it's crazy because, just a few days ago I was saying I don't think he'll ever even touch the field. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. We're just trying to figure it out as we go. Hopefully Luke Doty is back sooner rather than later, but, we'll see. We'll see. So.
The main issue I see with the whole Zeb Nolan thing is last year when we had Hill, it was very obvious that in the SEC, you need someone who can run RPOs and have a dynamic offense. You can't just stand in the pocket for a year and hope to win games in the SEC. So I don't know how good Zeb Nolan is. Really, I haven't seen any tape of him. He surely has more experience than anybody on our roster in the SEC, but my worry is that even with that experience, it's if he's in the game for an extended period of time, if he's our starting quarterback for an extended period of time, we're going to have the same situation with Colin Hill where we have to lean incredibly heavily on our offensive line, and I think it's not going to be good enough because you need more of a dynamic offense rather than just throwing the ball every down.
I mean,
just stand in the pocket.
Dude, I mean, I agree 110%. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, which is kind of like the ironic thing to me is, before this whole Zeb Nolan thing happened, but the irony is people were, they've been clamoring for Jason Brown and Colton Gauthier even. I understand the backup quarterback is always the most popular guy, but it's like we literally just went through a season last year where I would talk to fans weekly and they're like, man, we need a mobile quarterback. We need somebody back there who can move, who can run. Because I agree with you. I think defenses – they're just way too good to have a true pocket passer, a guy that drops back 5 steps. And, I mean, it's hard to win that way unless you've got a team just stock-loaded with talent and your quarterback surrounded by 5-star after 5-star. You need a guy who can beat you multiple ways. I mean, Luke Doty's really the only guy that can do that. I mean, I think Jason Brown has some escapability. I think Colton Gauthier has, pocket presence. I mean, he's a young guy, though, but nobody obviously can do the things that Luke Doty can do with his legs. So how mobile is Zeb Nolan? I mean, I don't think anybody on the roster is as mobile as Doty is, but no, listen, I think you make a great point. I think you make a great point. I think that, the quarterback being an athlete and making plays is going to be and should be a big part of this offense, and that's why I've said over and over again, to me, the best version of this offense and this football team is with Luke Doty at quarterback. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the other guys can't do some nice things, and that's why I've said, hey, maybe Jason Brown is a better passer of the football. Maybe Colton Gauthier is a better passer. But when you look at this offense and its strengths and its weaknesses and what I think it's going to need to do to win football games, you talked about the running game and the running backs. I think having a quarterback that can beat you with his legs and can improvise and, very very Connor Shaw-esque 3rd and 7, scramble for 8 and get a first down. I think that's a dynamic this offense needs. I really do. And again, I think most offenses need it, but I think certainly this South Gunna offense where you're thinking early on until it's proven otherwise, the wide receiver room is probably a deficiency, going to be a major question mark. You're going to have to lean on a quarterback that can improvise and get outside the pocket, maybe get guys open with his legs almost, and again, can take off and get positive yardage when the play breaks down. So I agree with you 110%. I think you're absolutely right when it comes to, what we need under center for sure. So.
All right, man. Well, that was all the questions I had. Thank you for having me on your show, and keep up the great work.
Dude, yeah, hey, I want to say, man, by the way, first ever question call, if you will, in the 2-hour Daily Crow. So I appreciate it, my friend. This was awesome. Appreciate it, man. Call in anytime, though. Seriously.
You're welcome, man. You have a good one.
Thanks, man. Take care. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Guys, taking your questions, comments, calls. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hour number 2, the first time ever. Hour number 2 on the expanded Daily Crow. Let's head back to TDC questions in the Big Cock Club Discord. Phil says, where is Halls located? right across the street from the State House in Columbia, Phil. He also says, excited about your interview with our New Carolina Rugby head coach, John Roberts, tomorrow morning. When can we expect that interview to drop? Yes, Phil, I'm excited for that too. That will drop on Thursday's show. So I'll have John in there, tomorrow morning, and we will drop that as a part of Thursday's show. By the way, that actually reminds me, Phil, do you guys also realize next week is game week? This is the last week of just 2 podcasts. We will return to daily podcasts Monday through Friday next week. So again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a brand new podcast each and every single day. So you think about the content right now, guys. You think about what the content's going to be, going into next week. Podcasts every single day, 2-hour daily crow every single day, Tin Roof live show every Wednesday. We're having live shows out the wazoo with my good buddy Cox by 90 and others. We've got the watch parties coming from Carolina Ale House. We've got the tailgates and live shows coming from every single home game, Seawells, maybe Jay's Corner. And then that's on top of the interviews and everything else we're doing. So again, guys, thank you all so much. Truly, content's bleeding out of the eyeballs. Truly it is. So again, thank you all so much. Woods Warrior 61 says in the TDC questions channel, speaking of student sections, do you think Beamer will address students to stay in the game? Last few seasons haven't been easy win-wise, but been to a few games where it was a tight game and students were clearing out early third quarter. It's a big deal for players to see that going on. Anybody thinks? I'm sure he will. I mean, I'm sure, Shane Beamer to me, man, has not been a guy that has held back in any type of way. So, yeah, I think if Shane Beamer looks around and he feels the need to say, hey, man, our students need to stick around and stay to the fourth quarter or stay to the end of the game, I think Shane Beamer will say that. So we'll see if he says that going into the game and going into, kickoff, you will. But, yeah, I would expect Shane Beamer, if he feels like he needs to say something, yeah, I think he'll say it. Luke RJ138 on Twitch says, I really hope Coach Satterfield's not too conservative and we do really well in the passing game instead of just managing the game. Nobody was more conservative than Muschamp, and his offenses were so hard to watch. I think we will be a little more aggressive. How aggressive will we be? Nobody really knows. Nobody knows because Marcus Satterfield's never called a play at the Power 5 level. Shane Beamer's never been a head coach. So just how aggressive are we going to be? I don't know. SEC Football Tube, you're welcome to pop in on the phone lines, my guy. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Give me a call, SEC Football Tube. Would love to chat with you. Elizabeth Ballard, what's going on? Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming out to read us. Truly, truly do appreciate it. Let's see. Doc Graybeard, not much being made of DJ being the only play-ready quarterback. They are in worse shape as far as depth than us. I will tell you this, man. Yeah, when your backup is basically a walk-on, yeah, I mean that's it. They're in some very interesting times in the upstate when it comes to the quarterback position. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls as well. Let's see. Again, 843-790-3377. In case you guys missed it, announcing our live show, kickoff show, next week, next Friday from Hall's Chop House, downtown Columbia, South Carolina, folks. Very, very excited for that. Going to be talking South Carolina football, of course, the night before South Carolina season opener against EIU. 12 days away. In case you didn't miss it, Blake Mitchell face mask days away until kickoff. Blake Mitchell face mask days away. Going to be a really, really good time, man. Really, really looking forward to it. Carolina Titans says, I think Dial will be a decent corner, possibly a Vic Hampton type. DBs will be the surprise group on defense. A good pass rush can help it. Carolina Titan, I think a good pass rush has to help it. Bottom line, you got to have a pass rush. Your defensive line, that is the key to the entire season, man. The defensive line has got to live up to the hype and be that unit we're all hoping they're going to be. Again, I talked about the defensive line on today's show as we continue along with the 2021 position unit preview series. Talked about it on the podcast. We broke down the Gamecocks defensive line, guys, everything you need to know about South Carolina's defensive line. And literally, I talked about season will be successful if the unit just simply lives up to the hype. That's it, because that'll spell a successful year, I think, for the defense as a whole. They're going to have to live up to the hype. John Gibbs says, with how offenses have evolved, I'd rather look terrible being aggressive than look terrible being conservative. Defense and offense need to take chances this year and really open it up. We have nothing to lose. I mean, John, I'd rather just not look terrible ever. Let's see. Yeah, Phil, like I said, that interview will drop Thursday. On Thursday's show, I will drop that interview with South Carolina's new head rugby coach, John Roberts. So it might be Phil's favorite interview, favorite podcast of all time on Thursday when we drop that interview. By the way, guys, we're creeping up on episode 500, believe it or not. Episode 500. Of course, today's episode was 483. So I'll have to count and see. Let's see. 484 will be Thursday. I'll have to do it. It'll be sometime in the season. I think like week 3 or 4 we'll hit episode 500. But yeah, guys, like I said, very excited. Next week we are returning to 5 podcasts per week. The last week of 2 shows per week is this week. And again, guys, very, very excited for the daily podcasts yet again. Let's jump back to the phone lines here real quick.
This is Phil.
Phil, what's going on, man? How are you?
Chris, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking, man. What's going on?
Not much. I'm doing pretty good. I'm on my lunch break right now. I've muted my TV, but I'm watching you talk to me through YouTube on my TV right now. Technology is awesome, huh?
Love that. Technology is great until it isn't. Until the Muschamp hackers get a hold of you, then it just
yeah. Muschamp hackers, don't bother this phone call. I have to get through my answer. No cutting down the phone lines here.
Yeah, seriously.
Right, what happened to Blake Mitchell? Why hasn't he been on the show? Has he been on any other shows that you're aware of?
You know, I'll tell you this, man. I think some guys just aren't. They're not, media guys. They don't want to be. I mean, some guys just don't want to come on shows, which is totally fine. But no, I've heard Blake's doing really, really well. I forget who it was. I was talking to, but he's. I think he's living down. I want to say he's in Charleston. From what I heard, he's doing really, really well though. So I mean,
good for him.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. Like I said, I would really selfishly love to get him on the show because I think it'd be just so cool. I mean, I know he's a guy that nobody's talking about Blake Mitchell as an all-time great or anything, or the greatest quarterback in school history, but he was Spurrier's first quarterback, and he was the quarterback that beat Tennessee in Knoxville for the first time ever, and the quarterback that beat Florida for the first time since like 1930 something or 1960 something or whatever that year was. So some big wins under Blake Mitchell, man. I'd love to hear his perspective on playing for Spurrier and being that first Spurrier quarterback. But no, like I said, I mean, from what I've heard, Blake Mitchell is rocking and rolling, man. He's doing well, so which is nice to hear. So
yeah, that's great. He was actually, and you know this, but he was my college roommate. Not my roommate, but he lived next door. Sorry.
Right.
In East Quad.
Your neighbor.
First year at Carolina. So, yes, my neighbor, exactly.
There you go.
Just wanted to mention real quick, Carolina Rugby, excited to have John Roberts on there tomorrow. This guy, again, people are rolling their eyes. I know I can just feel it as I'm talking about rugby right now when football is, 12 days away or whatever.
Right.
John Roberts, the head coach, won 3 national championships at Furman. At the Division III level, I believe it was. He moved up to Division II, I believe, with Furman, and took them to 2 more national championship games. Now, he lost both of them, unfortunately, but the guy's been to 5 national championships. He is coming to Carolina to coach them, and what's so cool is he's a Carolina guy. He graduated, I think, in 1990 from Carolina, so he played with Carolina Rugby back then, way before my time. But, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Club sports, it's kind of. Go ahead, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's I've for anybody who's followed me for a little bit, I think it's important to, and I just like to do so to highlight these sports. Back when lacrosse won their national championship, and that was actually over the summer before I moved to Columbia. So when I got here, man, I was like, you know what? None of these other outlets are going to give them the time of day. They're not even going to highlight their successes when they do something like win a national championship or anything like that. And so I've actually had the lacrosse coach on, the hockey coach on. I'm actually getting my good buddy Peter Candela. He's actually the new lacrosse coach. My good buddy Pete. So I'm getting him in studio, and so to have, like I said, to have the opportunity to speak with John Roberts and highlight the rugby program and the rugby team, I think it'll be really, really cool, man. So like I said, it's one of those things where all Gamecock sports matter, if you will. And anything positive, anything we can highlight that's happening within the university and the great things that are happening on and off the field. I think it's a great opportunity, man. So I'm looking forward to it. I will say I did tell John. He gave me a call last week, and we set everything up. I did tell John. I was like, John, I'm going to be asking you some pretty elementary questions when it comes to rugby, so please don't, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a rugby guy. I have truly no idea, so I'm going to be trying to pick your brain as far as, key players and just the game itself and, what I mean, what you guys are going to be doing. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am looking forward to it. I appreciate you setting it up.
Yeah, man, he's a great guy. I've been talking to him through the Zoom conversations that we have with the Carolina Rugby Foundation. Keep in mind now, Clemson has had a rugby head coach for a couple years, a paid rugby head coach, key word there. So it's time to step up and get to their level. And then beyond that, I'm hoping that Carolina within the next, 5-6 years is able to compete for national championships in rugby. And by the way, Alabama just had a kid drafted, I believe, in the second round in the MLR draft. So
really?
A lot of people see the South as just kind of a wasteland for rugby, except for Life University, which is in Atlanta. But if we can bring this program and elevate it, that would be fantastic. We can get drafted into the MLR, so they can see a pathway from playing rugby in high school and then going to college at Carolina and then being drafted in the MLR and being a professional rugby player. That would be fantastic. That's the goal. Yeah.
Dude, that sounds incredible. No, most certainly. Well, man, like I said, I appreciate you setting it up, man. And Gamecocks helping Gamecocks, so I'm really looking forward to it. Truly. So
cool. Well, I'll put everybody out of their misery and get off the line there.
No, Phil, love it, man. Truly appreciate it, and call in anytime, man. Like I said, I appreciate you being tuned in for the second hour now as we embark on this journey of the expanded Daily Crow. So
congratulations, man.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations on your success.
Appreciate it, man.
Right,
Thank you.
bro.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. Thanks. Right. Good stuff, guys. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. We got less than 30 minutes to go here on Monday, August the 23rd, 2021. Jumping back into the TDC questions channel of the Big Cock Club Discord. Keith says, Beamer at Carolina Call said we have a number one safety and a number one corner and 4 linebackers that he likes, which is the best I've heard about that group. Seems that maybe these guys just needed coaching. Keith, that is the hope. Keep your fingers crossed. I think we have talent on the defensive side. I am concerned about depth. I think it's hard not to be concerned about depth. But, hey, I think our starting 11 could be solid. But depth is where I have my concerns at. Let's see. Woods Warrior 61 says Garcia told you about Blake and that he has a roofing company in Charleston. Yes. Thank you. Yes. I was like, who was that said that? It was Steven Garcia. All right, let's jump back to the phone lines real quick. John, what's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm calling in. I'm looking forward to football, and I actually decided to call in today because my boss actually gave me the day off today.
Nice. John, I've got a funny story about you, John. So obviously you called in Wednesday night, I believe. You called in Wednesday night at Tin Roof, right? You called in the live show last week?
Yeah, Tin Roof.
Yes. You called in the Tin Roof show. It's hilarious. I'm sitting there Thursday night at Carolina Calls, Shane Beamer, whatever, and the venue, they play the calls on the speaker. And they said, let's go out to John. And you started talking. I was sitting there with my good buddy Kirk Hollingsworth. Mike Yuba was across me. I was like, this is John. This is John from the Tin Roof show that called in. So that was you, correct? Yeah. I'm not crazy, right?
Yes, I called in.
Yes. I was like, yes, this is John. Yeah. So kind of a funny story there. But anyways, appreciate you calling in again, my friend.
I don't get to call in much anymore except when I'm at home because I'm at work and my lunch break's at 11.
Yeah.
But I do listen to the show when I'm working at 12, but I can't,
Right. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
But my boss actually gave me day off today with everything our family's going through right now. So I'm like, hey, why not? I'm at home right now, and I don't get to call in much. So I'm like, she gave me the day off, might as well call in.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate it, man. What's going on? What's on your mind?
No, just don't get to call in much anymore, and I'm just fired up for football. And then like some people say, the closer we get to football, it's the slower it goes.
Oh yeah, no, dude. These next, I know for many people, it's a little bit different when you're in my position because we're staying so consistent with making content that, believe it or not, the days sometimes they feel like they fly by. But it's most certainly too. It's the fastest and longest 12 days you will probably ever experience for sure. So, again, we're all counting down the days to kickoff, and no, it's going to be fun. Are you going to be in the building for the EIU game or not?
No, I'm not. I will be for the Troy game.
Troy, okay. Good deal. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Be there for Troy.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good time, man.
No offense, like I'm telling some people, I'm looking for a game. Like, okay, I'm going to a game this year in Shane's first year. Like, I really want to go to a game in his first year. And I was looking at 3 games. I was looking at like EIU. I was looking at actually Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at Troy. But the problem with the Vanderbilt game is it's on the 16th, which is like a Saturday in October. And that's actually I'm turning 26 that day. So I'm like, well, crap.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go to the Troy game. But I was looking at Vanderbilt too. But I obviously can't do that one since I probably have stuff to do that day. But
right. No, I got you. Hey, Troy will be fun. Hopefully, for your sake, it's a night game. Hopefully, for your sake and all our sakes, it's a night game. So
well, yeah, we have that. Like I haven't said yet, but we'll probably find out maybe a week or two before that.
Right.
We're playing, so.
No, for sure. Well, yeah, it's going to be one hell of a season, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Definitely looking forward to meeting you whenever you come down. And go ahead.
Have they said what time we're playing East Carolina yet? Or
yes, that is a noon game. That is a noon kickoff at their place. Yep.
Okay, that's kind of. I hate to say it's kind of backwards. Like, we get a night game for Eastern Illinois, an FCS team, but we're getting a new game for not a Power 5 school, but like an FBS school. Like, we're getting a night game for not a Power 5 school, but we're getting a new game for a FBS team. So it's kind of like, I don't know, backwards, but.
Dude, yeah, trust me. It's I'm also very, I'll be honest, I'm very surprised the Gamecocks got a night game for week 1, but I am most certainly not complaining, my guy.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
I'm not complaining. I'm just feeling like weird getting a night game for an FCS team.
Yeah, no, dude, I trust me, I agree with you. I agree with you 110%. So,
but we're not complaining, so because we're in Bryce at night.
Yeah.
So. I thought I called because I see my boss gave him the day for what I.
Yeah, man, dude, I appreciate it, John. Call in anytime, my friend. Obviously, hopefully with the the expanded daily crow with the 2 hours, you'll have more opportunities to call in. But no, I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, definitely when you come down for that Troy game, let's link up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. All right.
All right, John. Yeah. Hey, take care. Have a great rest of your Monday, man. Appreciate you.
You do.
All right, man. Later. Good stuff, guys. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Robbie Davis says, what's up, Chris? Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're having a great week. What are you most excited about seeing next week when we have our first game? And how is your mom doing? Go Gamecocks. To heck with that team in the upstate. Mom's doing well. Appreciate you asking. Robbie, he also says, be praying for my dad. He has knee replacement surgery early tomorrow morning. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, prayers up for your pops for sure. Hope for a successful surgery, no doubt. I will say what I'm most excited about seeing during game week. I don't even know, man. Just everything. The overall excitement and the buzz and the energy. I know it might sound kind of like a cop-out answer, but, dude, I'm just excited to see Willie be packed again. I really am. I can't wait. Like I said, how can you not have perspective on everything that everything that we've been through, if you will, as a fan base and as just people, dealing with last year and COVID and the madness that was and 20% capacity or whatever. And so to see Williams-Brice Stadium packed yet again, what a sight that's going to be. You know what I mean? And it's going to be absolutely electric next weekend. Luke RJ on Twitch says, I wonder if Beamer will help at all with calling plays. Has anybody asked him this yet? He's an offensive-minded coach, so maybe he can and will be very involved with the offensive game plan. I think Shane Beamer's a coach that is going to let his coordinators work. I truly do believe so. But I have to think every now and then, like, he's going to have his hand in the offensive game plan. But I mean, listen, you hire an offensive coordinator to let him do his job. You know what I mean? So I think Beamer will be involved in the game plan, but I think when it comes to in-game, I think if Shane Beamer really wants to override Marcus Satterfield, I'm sure he will. But I would imagine he's going to let Marcus Satterfield call the game. But who knows? Again, that's a hell of a question, man, because we don't know, right? We don't know. Shane Beamer's never been a head coach before. So, we don't know his tendencies. We don't know, the type of coach he's going to be. We don't know. We don't have any idea. So, going to be very, very interesting for sure. Tanner Land said, we need to get Garcia at Tin Roof. That would be a blast. Indeed, it would. Indeed. The toughest thing is because it's middle of the week, just finding time where Garcia is actually in town. I think that is the tough part, but certainly, man, hopefully one of these days we'll be able to make that happen, no doubt. Let's see. Josh Wrightley says, another hour to fill the work days. Love it. Yeah, Josh, I got you, man. I got you. First day of the expanded Daily Crow, and I think it's going really, really well to this point. Fred Jenkins, I hope we blow them out in the fourth. I want to see what the Juju hype is about. Yeah, I would expect Juju to play. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think it's going to be, I'll put it to you this way. I will give another score prediction, obviously, of course, week by week by week. I'll be dropping on Fridays my official score prediction and how I think the game's going to go. I mean, listen, I think it's going to be a very, very fun night for the Garnet and Black. I would expect the Gamecocks to, have a lot of success against DIU. And I think you're going to see a lot of guys play. I think it's an empty the bench type of game for South Carolina. I really do. I think South Carolina, it's a name your score type of game. I think it's a game where you get everybody out there. Again, it's a really, really, really fun night. Let's see. We have a text in, actually from my sister. Shout out to my sister. I don't know if she's watching or not. She says, what do you think is the most important thing for fans to consider going to the first game of the season? What should expectations look like? So excited for the season. Go Cox. I think the most important things for fans to consider going in the first game and just keeping expectations in check. But again, this is still the first year of a brand new staff, a brand new regime. So there's going to be an acclimation process, if you will, of, kind of figuring yourself out. Again, Shane Beamer has never been a head coach. You've got two coordinators who have never called a play at the Power 5 level. You've got a quarterback going into his first year being the starter. You've got, a receiver room that has been plagued by injuries and lack of production. You have real holes and issues on the defense and the secondary, and I think your linebacker room here and there. So there's talent on the football team. Don't get me wrong. But all I'm saying, again, it is Shane Beamer's first year. So just keep that in perspective. It is his first season in Columbia. There's going to be some bumps in the road. There's no question. There's going to be some bumps in the road. Just keep that in mind. Let's see. Excuse me. John Gibbs says, I would think the best coaches are CEOs. You let everyone know your game plan and hire coordinators to go do it. When it's not working and not up to your standards, you change it. Yeah, absolutely. Well put. Well put. Courtney Washington says, I thought I missed today's show. Courtney, the first ever 2-hour Daily Crow, the expanded Daily Crow. So, Courtney, I guess you caught the tail end. How about that? Appreciate you for tuning in, Courtney. Thank you so much. Philip Harris, I think this is the clone, Phil. He says, I feel like the last regime would have rather won with their defense than offensively. That philosophy just doesn't work with modern football. Yeah, I mean, it's an offensive game, right? You got to score to win. Bottom line, the days of, Alabama's defense in 2010 or 11 or whatever, the days of a defense holding opponents to 12 points per game and winning by dominating on defense, those days are over. I mean, those days are over. Bottom line, they're over. So those days are over in my opinion. You're going to have to score. And that doesn't mean you can't still play good defense and go win football games, but you're just not winning 17-14 anymore. You're not winning 20-17. Most likely you're not. You know what I mean? You're going to have to score to win. And I think that's why you hired a guy like Shane Beamer that has been around really, really good offenses during his time, for sure. Tyler Knoll says, what does it really say about Jason and Colton that Zeb has seen the field for a week now, and he's probably going to get the nod week 1? Does that concern you at all from the drop-off from Doty to QB2? Well, I mean, I think it kind of reconfirms what we already knew, Tyler Knoll, in the sense of Zeb Nolan will get the start most likely because he actually has experience. You know what I mean? He has experience. He started a collegiate game at the Power 5 level before. And so whether Zeb Nolan, was coming off the bench or not, or, coming to start, whatever, I mean, that fact wouldn't change. You know what I mean? So I am not overly concerned about what this decision says about the quarterback room because Luke Doty is our starter, right? If Luke Doty goes down, guys, we're in a world of hurt anyways, right? So Luke Doty's our starter. As long as he's healthy throughout this season, we're going to be okay. And I know some of you are like, man, like you hate to think that the entire season is going to hinge on one guy. But like every team is like that, basically. I mean, there are not many football teams out there, guys, that if their starting quarterback went down, the outlook of their season wouldn't change just a little bit. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. So, I don't know. That's just, that's just kind of the way I look at it. I mean, what does it say about the quarterback room going into week one? It says that you've got everybody outside of Luke Doty has no experience and has never played a game at this level, and that's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So, I like things Jason Brown does. I like things Colton Gauthier does. Heck, I like things Connor Jordan does. But those guys are extremely, extremely unproven. Bottom line. That's really, I think, what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Keith in the TDC Questions channel, the Big Cock Club Discord, says, we're still rolling almost 2 hours in. May have to go to 3 hours next week. Keith, let's get acclimated to 2 hours, and then maybe one of these days we'll see about a 3-hour show. But no, seriously, man, appreciate you guys all tuning in, man, the love and support. Without you guys, I wouldn't even have had this idea to have the 2-hour expanded Daily Crows and to continue going and just rocking and rolling with y'all. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. So I truly do appreciate the love and support. Also, quick reminder on a random note, the TSUS Season Simulation Series for the 2021 football season continues tonight. We actually beat Tennessee last night. In case you missed it, South Carolina taking down the Vols. I think the final score was like 27-13 or something like that. We actually dominated them pretty well. We will take on Vanderbilt tonight. We'll take on Vandy. Gamecocks in the simulation now sit at 3-3 overall. So we will take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. The Vanderbilt Commodores at 7 o'clock tonight. 7 o'clock tonight. So, again, appreciate y'all tuning into that. Those are really, really fun. And hopefully we will take care of our business against Vandy. I mean, again, it's been a roller coaster in the simulation, just like it is in real life. We lost to Troy and then beat Tennessee. How does that make any sense? I have absolutely no idea. Sean O'Brien says 24-hour Daily Crow marathon the year we win the Natty. I'm game. We'll stay live for a freaking week if we win the national championship. Phil Harris says, I do love the extended daily content. Much props to Chris and the TSUS for making that happen. Phil, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bullish says, when it comes to quarterbacks, we just have to wait and see what it is. Simple and plain. Yeah, it's a good point. Travis says, 2-hour show has flown by, the first edition going off without a hitch. Yes, sir. It's been, it really has flown by here on a Monday. Lot to talk about here on a Monday. Lot to talk about. Let's see. Christopher Miller, I looked through our schedule, and ESPN FBI has us at 4-8. I think that's plausible. What they don't take into account is that we usually always win one or two we are not supposed to. Like I said, I'm locked in at 6-6. I feel good about 6-6, but I will say I think 6-6 would be a great season. Again, the video that I made over the weekend that I posted was not really posting that to hurt people's feelings. Again, I am trying to bring some true serum and perspective to the room. Just please don't lose sight that 6-6 will be a great year in Shane Beamer's first season. There's just no other way to slice it, guys. It'll be a great year. It'll be a great year. In no way will 6-6 be underachieving. Because when you predict 8-4, that's kind of what you're insinuating. And it's like, I don't want people to think that. That is no. I don't want people to think that at all. So 6-6 will be a great year. I've picked it. I think that will happen. Wesley Newmar, do you think there will be a Gamecock walk with everything that's going on? I expect there to be, man. That's all I know. I'm not in charge of game day or whether that happens or not. I think there will be a Gamecock walk. We'll see. I have no idea. John Kruger says, at least Zeb has played Power 5 football. No offense to Colton and Jason. Yeah, it's no offense at all. Again, it's just a fact. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. It's just a fact. So I think that in week one, you heard Marcus Satterfield, like I said last week, talk about it. But I think in week one, they want to go with the guy that they can depend on to run the offense and isn't going to play him out of the game and isn't going to make silly mistakes. And I think right now Zeb Nolan is probably that guy. Phil Harris says, how many Phil Harrises are there, by the way? How many clone Phils are there? I just keep saying Phil Harris, but I don't know which Phil Harris this is really. He says, I did watch the Tennessee simulation. I honestly feel like this year could go the way the nature that the Sims have went. I think we will look better as the year progresses, but bumpy at first. Yeah, I would not doubt that at all, Phil. Would not doubt that at all. I think this will be a football team that will get better week to week to week. I do expect that. That to me, I think is the scary thing though with this season, because I think to get to 6-6 or, God forbid, better, you're going to have to take advantage of the front half of your schedule. You're just flat out going to have to. So you need to be ready to take advantage of a schedule that sets up very favorably in the first half, because I think this is a team that will get better week to week to week to week, but we may not see it reflected on the field because the schedule gets so much tougher in the second half of the season. So again, it's going to be very interesting to see how this team develops, how this team evolves. It'll be very, very interesting, but we'll see. Again, I've got the Gamecocks starting 5-2, which I even look back and I'm like, man, like, is that a little aggressive? Is that just a little too aggressive? But I think it's possible. I think it's possible, man. I really do. Sean O'Brien says, I know it's too early for a take, but how do you feel about Zeb compared to how you felt about Colin Hill? Well, I can tell you this, man. I feel completely different right now than I did at this time last year because it's a brand new era and a brand new coaching staff and a brand new regime. I feel differently because I felt like Colin Hill, there were reasons why he was selected as QB1, right? Zeb Nolan, guys, even if he starts and plays the entire game against EIU, he's not QB1. Luke Doty is. Bottom line. Luke Doty is QB1. Luke Doty is this team's best quarterback, and Luke Doty will be QB1 when he comes back from injury. So, yeah, it's a different feeling. That's why, man, again, it's a fun storyline. It's a fun storyline to talk about going into week one. Anytime you're talking about quarterbacks, it's fun to talk. It's fun to talk quarterbacks going into week one. But realistically, guys, when Luke Doty's healthy, he's this team's starting quarterback point blank. End of discussion. Luke RJ says, what was Zeb Nolan's record as the starter in the spring season this year? North Dakota State's always really good and usually wins the national title. I don't know what their record was, but I can tell you they did make the playoffs. So I'd have to look back. I guess we could look back at North Dakota State football and their record. Their record in the spring season. Let's see. I'll tell you guys right now. Let's see if we just go to 2020 schedule. So they actually did play a game October the 3rd and then didn't play again until February the 21st. So they went 7-3. They went 7-3, 5-2 in conference. 7-3, 5-2 in conference. They actually won their first game matchup against Eastern Washington, beat them 42-20, and then lost to Sam Houston 24-20 in the quarterfinals. Let's look at statistics really quickly, by the way. Let's see. How did Zeb Nolan fare? How did Zeb Nolan fare this spring? I haven't even looked at this. I feel like nobody's even posted this, right? Zeb Nolan. Let's see. Cam Miller actually started 2 games for them as well. Zeb Nolan only threw 100 passes. Went 51 for 100, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Averaged 103 passing yards per game, completed just 51% of his passes. So Zeb Nolan was not great. Let's just call it for what it is. He wasn't great. He has more experience than anybody else on the roster, but he wasn't great. Bullish says, 10-2, worst case scenario, 12-0. Yeah, I'm that guy. I got you, Bullish. Hey, from your lips to God's ears, my friend. Tanner Land says, before we go, what did Phil have for lunch? I'm going to guess a rugby sandwich, LOL. That sounds about right. Phil says, good question, Sean. Nothing against Colin Hill, but if we went up taking the same route, we will have a very unhappy fan base. I don't see Beamer making that mistake, barring injury. Yeah, again, guys, Zeb Nolan is playing because Luke Doty's hurt. It's not because he's actually taking the starting quarterback job. So Luke Doty's healthy. He's this team's QB1, but he's not healthy for week 1 as of right now. So you got to find a guy who's going to play. You got to find somebody who's going to play for you. So insert Zeb Nolan. Just got a couple of minutes left, guys. 843-790-3377. If you guys want to get a last-minute question, call, comment in. My sister texts in and says, are you happy that Pastides is back as president? Also, how does Cola feel with all the students back? Hopefully that electric atmosphere despite COVID. And I mean, I love Pastides, so, happy he's the president. I wonder what they're going to do in that situation with Pastides and finding a new president. Like, I wonder how long that process will take. Yeah, and I mean, you can definitely feel the electricity in Columbia for sure. You can definitely feel shoot, you can definitely feel the electricity, no question. I think everybody's very, very, very excited. Very excited. So. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. John Kruger says last year's staff was clueless. John, good way to put it. Let's see. John O'Brien says, I hope Pastides stays. Travie, had a blast on the first edition. Have a great rest of your day, Chris, and the diehard Daily Crowers. Yes, shout out to the diehard Daily Crowers, man. Looking forward to the expanded Daily Crow all throughout the week and continuing each and every single day. Very, very much so. Looking forward to it. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, we got just a couple minutes left. Quick reminder, again, we'll be live Monday through Friday, noon to 2 now on the Daily Crow. Also, guys, podcast did drop this morning, episode 483, breaking down the Gamecocks defensive line. Also, your listener questions and a great conversation. Jeff O'Hare of Cox by 90 and I actually reposted that conversation on today's podcast. So in case you missed it, in case you were not out at Rita's or were unable to tune in the live show, I did post that conversation. Thought it was a great conversation. Wanted to make sure you guys were able to hear that. So like I said, that podcast drop, of course, podcast again will drop on Thursday. We've got our live show from Tin Roof on Wednesday. And of course, guys, like I said, this is the last week of just 2 podcasts per week. The very last week, as we will go back to daily podcasts beginning next week. Very excited, guys. The weekly schedule, I can tell you, is going to look like this. Normally in season, Monday will be like a game recap show, of course, breakdown, talking about the game, everything that happened. Next week, it'll just be a normal Monday show. As we continue our position unit preview series. I think on Monday show, we're talking about the Gamecocks defensive backs. Tuesday, guess what? Alex McGrath is back for the 3rd consecutive season. Alex McGrath will join me. He'll be live with me each and every single Tuesday. So again, that will start next week. Wednesday, we will talk Shane Beamer's presser comments. We'll also talk gambling on the Wednesday show as I give my SEC gambling picks and best bet for South Carolina's game that weekend. Thursday will be our full game preview and breakdown show. And then Friday will be my prediction show. Well, I will lock in my official prediction for each of South Carolina's games this season. So again, guys, content absolutely bleeding out of the eyeballs. Go, folks, I thought this went really, really well, by the way. Truly appreciate you all tuning in, rocking with the expanded Daily Crow. Doc Graybeards is another great show. Appreciate you tuning in, Doc. John Gibbs says, whatever y'all do, Gamecock Nation, if we have a disappointing season, please, please don't sell your Clem Sucks weekend tickets. I don't want to see half our stadium orange. John, good way to put it. My guy tuning in, my guy. Spurs up. Appreciate y'all again. Thank you all so much. I thought this was a major, major success. And again, guys, we will see you again tomorrow at noon. Guys, have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.